he was a ghost, a Marine with no name, 2 carrying the silence of a war that never made the news, right there in the set of his jaw. The sheriff saw a vagrant, sent in his most reliable K9 unit to flush him out. But when the Belgian Malinois reached him, it didn't bark, it froze. And what that dog did next left the whole town breathless, because this wasn't just any Marine. And that wasn't just any dog. It was a reunion, 7 years after they'd both been declared lost at sea. Before we go on, tell us where you're watching from, and if this story moves you, please hit subscribe. The rain came to Cedar Key, Florida, the way it always did, not in a storm, but as a slow silver hush, blurring the line between sky and sea. It slicked the docks, dripped from Spanish moss hung like old ghosts from the live oaks, turned the boardwalk into a mirror of blurred lantern light and distant thunder. The air, thick, with the brine of shrimp boats, the tang of tar, and the quiet ache of memory. And in that gray hush he sat, on a weathered bench near the end of the marina. A man in worn cargo pants and a faded ollar jacket stared at the horizon, where the gulf met the clouds. He hadn't blinked, hadn't shifted, hadn't checked his phone or lit a cigarette like every other soul on the pier. He just watched, still as a reef, sharp as a blade. His name? Marcus Rook Delaney. Though to the world, he was nobody. But to a classified division of the Department of Defense, he was Gunnery Sergeant Delaney, former recon Marine, now deep cover observer, tracking a fishing trawler named the Marlin's Det, suspected of running encrypted drone parts from Cuba into the Everglades. His orders? Watch, report, do not engage. But Cedar Key? It was too quiet for secrets. In a town where the post office doubled as gossip central, and everyone knew whose dog barked at midnight. A man who didn't speak, didn't eat, and didn't leave his post for 14 hours? That wasn't odd. That was a threat. Inside Maggie's Bait and Brew, the locals had been watching him all day. Maggie Reyes wiped down the counter with a practiced flick of her wrist. Mid-50s, sun-kissed skin, silver-streaked black hair and a messy bun, eyes that had seen hurricanes come and go. Her husband, a shrimp boat captain, vanished during Hurricane Irma. Now she ran the place, serving strong Cuban coffee and grouper sandwiches to tourists and old salts alike. "He's still out there," she murmured, peering through the rain-streaked window. "He's either heartbroken or hunted," grunted Earl. A retired Navy diver, tattooed forearm, permanent squint. No one sits that still unless they're waiting for something or someone. At the end of the bar, 12-year-old Javier Ortiz didn't say a word. Just watched the man through his thick glasses. Javi collected military patches, read old leatherneck magazines, could name every Marine Corps campaign since 1775. And something about that man's posture, the way his boots were laced, the way his hands rested on his knees like they remembered grenade grips, sparked a memory. By dusk, Maggie's unease won out. She picked up the phone. "Sheriff Lang," came the calm drawl. "Hank, it's Maggie. There's a man on Pier 3. Been there since sunup, doesn't talk, doesn't move, feels wrong." 10 minutes later, Sheriff Hank Lang arrived in his white county cruiser, rain pattering on the roof. He approached slowly, hand near his sidearm but voice gentle. "Evening, friend. You lost?" The man didn't turn, just thinking. Chew, juice thinking. Chew R. Chew R. Chew R. Chew RRF. 2F, 2RRR. CRF, Jew R for half a day, without ID. That raises eyebrows. Silence. Then, on the Marlin's Det, a hatch opened. Figures moved. A Zodiac launched. The mission was active. The Marine's pulse steadied. He needed this cop. Gone. Now. "I'm not causing trouble," he said. Voice low, gravelly, like gravel dragged over steel. "Trouble doesn't always knock," Lang replied. "I'll need to see some ID. I don't have any." Lang's jaw tightened. He keyed his shoulder mic. "Dispatch, send K9. Non-compliant male, possible harbor surveillance." Across the street, behind a stack of crab traps, Javi's eyes widened. "Hey, 9?" He bolted, sprinting through slick alleys toward his abuela's house, where his grandfather's old service trunk sat under the bed. 10 minutes later, headlights cut through the rain. A county SUV rolled in. Out stepped Deputy Anna Cruz, late 20s, former Air Force MP, sharp-eyed, steady. At her side, Valkyrie, a powerful Belgian Malinois, tactical vest, eyes like obsidian. "Easy, Val," Anna murmured, unclipping the leash slightly. "Just assess." Valkyrie advanced, muscles coiled, low growl vibrating in her chest, trained to subdue, to hold, to protect. But then, a shift in the wind, a scent, salt, gun oil, and something deeper, something buried. Valkyrie froze. Her ears snapped forward. Her growl died mid-thrum. She sniffed the air, once, twice, then whined. A high, trembling sound that made Anna's blood run cold. Because Valkyrie never whined. The Marine finally turned. And in that moment, Valkyrie lunged, not to attack, but to reach. She pulled against the leash with desperate strength, eyes locked on his face. Anna, let go. The dog covered the distance in 3 bounds, then stopped, inches away, trembling. She sniffed his boots, his hands, his jacket, then pressed her forehead hard against his knee, tail tucked, body shaking. From his pocket, the man pulled a worn leather dog tag on a chain. Scratched into the metal, VALKYRIE, Delaney, 2ND, Pride Us, Semper Fi. He knelt. "Hey girl," he whispered, voice breaking. "You remember me?" The dog answered with a soft, keening cry, then licked his cheek, like she'd waited a lifetime to do it again. The crowd, Maggie, Earl, Javi, even Sheriff Lang, stood stunned. Rain fell, thunder rolled, and on that rainy Florida pier, a ghost and his dog were whole again. Javi came running, clutching a faded photo from his grandfather's album, a younger Delaney in desert camo, arm around a lean Malinois. Caption, Gunny Delaney and Val, K9 heroes of Fallujah Outpost. Beneath it, a footnote. Both lost at sea during Operation Silent Passage 2018. Presumed KIA, but they weren't dead. Blown overboard during a covert extraction. Delaney clung to wreckage for 2 days. Val swam beside him until a Cuban fishing boat picked them up. Delaney spent years in a black site recovery program. Val found wandering the Keys, malnourished, silent. Adopted by County K9, renamed Scout. Her past erased. Now, the truth surfaced. Deputy Cruz holding the microchip scanner in her shaking hands. Read the glowing screen, ID K9V7 VALKYRI. Handler Delaney, M status KIA 057T N2000 2018. Killed in action, she whispered. But she's here, an old Vietnam vet named Papa Luis. Leaning on a cane carved from mangrove wood, stepped forward. "You think that's just a dog?" he said, voice rough as sandpaper. "That's a Marine. And that man, that's her reason for breathing. You don't reassign loyalty. Like it's a patrol car. You honor it." Before anyone could act, black SUVs rolled in, unmarked, tinted windows. Out stepped Special Agent Naomi Shaw, Homeland Security. Crisp suit, ice-cold gaze. "This is a federal asset," she announced. "We're extracting." But then the internet happened. Javi had filmed everything on his phone. By midnight, A Cedar Key reunion trended nationwide. A retired commandant shared it. "This is why we serve." Celebrities wept. Veterans posted photos of their own K9 partners. The Navy, bombarded, let them stay together. Agent Shaw's phone blew up, not with orders, but a call from the Pentagon. "Shaw, public sentiment is off the charts." The president saw it. "Your call." She looked at Delaney, now sharing Maggie's empanadas. Val curled at his feet, like she'd never left. 10 minutes later, she handed him official papers. "Effective immediately," she said. "K9 Valkyrie is retired with full honors. She's yours, permanently." A week later, a bronze plaque appeared on the bench at Pier 3, Fearthur the Guardians who return from the deep, for the loyalty that never drowns. W.E. Welcome home. Love doesn't forget, not in war, not in silence, not even in death. If this story reminded you that some bonds are unbreakable, leave a comment below. Just, amen. If you believe second chances are real, share this with someone who's lost hope. And if you want more stories that prove miracles walk on 4 legs and wear dog tags, hit subscribe. Thank you for watching. And may you always be found by those who remember your name.